Harry, thanks very much for joining us. Delight to have you here. Let's just start by talking about your general ambitions for the 2024 season. What do you see it for you?
For me, I keep it as simple as just trying to help the team win games this year. Whatever format that is, just whatever role I'm asked to do, I just want to help us win games of cricket, and if that means that I do well, then happy days.
So, big change is that you're first choice wicketkeeper this season. What impact do you think that's going to have on your game? Is there any pressure that comes with that, given you're the only wicketkeeper here now, or are you excited to get going and being behind the stumps?
Yeah, no, keeping in general is pretty new to me. I've only really properly been doing it for the last. This has been my second full season, so obviously did it last year. So I've sort of become accustomed to what it's like to play as a keeper and batting as well, and what that looks like around training. With regards to this year, no, it's not any added pressure. It's an amazing opportunity. Like I'm obviously in a second chance of playing professional cricket after getting released a few years ago. So my whole outlook on the game is very much of just trying to embrace every opportunity and get on with it. Like it's not going to last forever, so just enjoy it and have a good crack. But no, I'm really excited to get going, especially in that role. It's something I've really enjoyed doing since I've started keeping, and hopefully just keep getting better and better.
You mentioned it there. Obviously, quite the journey for you as a cricketer, released from Sussex and then getting back here during the COVID years. But now you've extended your contract until 2025. How proud are you to be able to call Kent your home now after such a tumultuous career ups and downs?
No, incredibly proud. It's I think we actually talking about this the other day. We had a bit of a culture meeting on the Tuesday, and just how much pride everyone's got in representing Kent. And definitely for me that's something that's very much at the forefront of my mind when I'm playing for Kent. Obviously had a tricky couple of years trialling, but was resilient and sort of kept persisting with it, and obviously sort of reaping a few rewards of that now. But I don't really want to just stop there. I want to keep going and see where I can get to in the game, and see. Like, ultimately for me, the whole goal is trying to help Kent win games of cricket, and that's what I love about the game. I love trying to be the one to help win games, because it's not much fun losing and stuff. But no, it's definitely really sort of proud moment, I guess, whenever you represent Kent in any format.
So obviously you've got a new captain in Daniel Bell-Drummond for the County Championship and possibly the One Day Cup. What impact is he already having in pre-season training, and what impact do you think he'll have in the side?
Yeah, no, Deeves will be brilliant. Obviously, to be fair, I play a lot under Sam, obviously, because I only played when he stopped playing. Obviously, both keepers and stuff. So I think they're obviously two different characters. I think they have their own way about going about things. But I think they're both equally as good, and I think they're going to be a really good balance. Both one doing the T20 and one doing the 4-day stuff, and they both work really well together. So, but yeah, Deeves will be brilliant. He's very calm. He's very clear, and he'll relish in that role, as I've seen he's done before. Whenever he's stepped in and deputised as captain, the boys have really responded well to him, and he'll thrive in the role. I expect him to have another really good season for him personally, and hopefully for us.
Yeah, so you've also got some new signings, some new players about, Michael Cohen being one. What's it like having new blood? Because I was in the press conference before. To me, it feels like there's a fresh energy around this team. Is that something you've experienced in the
definitely. There's obviously we've added Georgie Garrett, Michael Cohen. We've also got a couple of overseas players coming as well. And obviously Matt Parkinson coming in as well. He played a little bit at the back end of last season, but yeah, it definitely feels like there's a fresh energy about it. And obviously back with the whole captaincy thing, obviously Deeves is coming in and captaining that, and Bill is just doing the white ball stuff. So it's going to feel fresh, in the 4-day stuff originally, and then as soon as we get to T20 stuff, that'll feel fresh as well, because I'd imagine Bills will be coming in firing and raring to go, and be really looking forward to playing. So it's really exciting, but it's always exciting this time of year. Every county is excited, every player is excited. I think for us, it's we've had some really good chats this week. It's just about making sure that we really commit to that stuff throughout the season. If we get off to a good start, great. If we don't, then that's also fine as well. It's just for us, it's more of the longer term focus and making sure that we're sticking to the things that we want to stick to now. And as I said, it is exciting, but it's it's not the first game of the season isn't a cup final, so we don't need to be revving for it too much.
You mentioned cup final there. I want to go back to 2022 actually, as a Lancashire fan and someone who was there at Trent Bridge. You said that one day cup win was one of the highlights of your career. I wonder, there's a lot of chat in county cricket about that tournament as it is. How do you find playing in it, and is that something that you really enjoy, and is it something that Kent will be looking to go forward and go really far this year?
Yeah, no, well, the reason it was kind of a highlight for me is it at the time it was possibly going to be the last ever professional game I played, because at the time I had no idea whether I was going to get signed or not here. So that sort of was why it was a massive. I mean, it still is a huge highlight for me, but I think at the time it felt massive. With regards to the format, yeah, it's great to play in. It's a really good format. I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't want to play in the 100. Obviously, everyone would like to play in the 100, and however, it is a great tournament to play in. And 50 over cricket is a really, really good format of cricket to play in. And everyone who's not in the 100 really enjoys playing in it. Obviously, it doesn't get the same audiences obviously as the 100 and stuff, but it's still a very valuable competition and one that we take really seriously. We're not in it to get knocked out of the group stage. We're in it to try and win it every year. And I think just on the whole, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the game and where it goes and where 50 over cricket goes, because obviously seems to be a huge demand now for these T20 comps. And if 50 over cricket might not be around in 5 or 6 years time, but at the moment it is. And yeah, we all love playing in it. And I think obviously not sure who's quite been retained yet, but I think even if we do lose a few players, we're still in quite a strong position to have a right good go at it.
Absolutely. So what do you think Kent can do better as a side this season to see more success? Is there anything specifically that the head coach has been targeting or that you've been looking at in your own game? What are you looking to improve on this season?
Well, from a team point of view, I think quite simply, really, I think it was a bit of a squad issue last year. We obviously lost a few injuries, and then we didn't have a big enough squad, so we struggled. Obviously, when guys were injured, so I think we've kind of addressed that situation already. So I think straight away from the get-go, I think that solves a few issues and allows us to rotate a bit more. I think everyone would be on the same page in saying we obviously had 3 or 4 guys injured, and we were then really short numbers. I think one game at Nottingham, we had to bring in 2 guys on loan. Alex Blake played, who wasn't contracted for Red Bull cricket, and we were really short and we were struggling. And then when we've got everyone available at times, we've looked amazing. So I think the first bit was to get the squad done, and obviously we've added some, like you said at the start, some really, really good players, and some really good people as well, which is probably the most important thing. I guess from a playing point of view, I think it's just probably having a little bit more belief. I think obviously we've not gone as well as we wanted to in the last few years, especially in the 4-day stuff. I think T20 and white ball cricket's been good, but the Red Bull stuff, I think it's just having a little bit more belief and potentially a bit more ruthlessness, because we've certainly got in positions to win games and stuff, and maybe at times haven't quite nailed it home. But I felt like at the back end of last season, the last sort of 3 or 4 games, there was a bit of pressure on there for us to try and stay up, and we won games and got some good draws in games as well, and we started to have a bit of an identity and a bit of belief about us. So I think if we can continue from that, we'll be hopefully surprise a few people.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I want to ask about as well, I just interviewed Jaden Denley. He's obviously quite a new talent coming into this side. What's it like having a young player around who you know is going to be a star of the future?
Yeah, Jaden's a brilliant player. He's just sort of come into the first team career quite seamlessly last year. I think that's where the 50 over comp's brilliant as well. You can give these younger guys an opportunity to play and show what they're about, and he put in some brilliant performances a few times with the bat, but sort of mainly with the ball in that format as well. He's a really good left-arm spinner as well. I think he obviously went to the Under-19 World Cup this winter, and I think he'd probably be the first to admit he had a bit of a tricky time, but I only see that as a positive. I think he'll just learn so much from that, and I think it's great exposure. I mean, I went to one myself back in 2012 or 2013, I think it was, in Dubai, and you're playing against the best guys of your age, and I was playing against the likes of Rabada, and immediately they're going to be superstars, and it's just really nice to see where you're at in terms of that level against them and how much you've got to work on. And I was looking at him in the nets yesterday, and he looks like he's improved a huge amount. So yeah, really excited to see how he goes this year, and there's no pressure on him. He's just come in, enjoy it. When he's asked to play, I'm sure he'll perform. The one thing about Jaden is he's a real competitor, and he that's one thing that really stood out last year when he crossed the line. he didn't look like he was shy or timid. He just looked like he took it in stride. And yeah, he's a good lad as well. And it must be strange for him playing with his uncle. That must be that must be interesting.
And so also overseas signings coming in this thing: Wes Agar and Xavier Bartlett. Agar's someone who's been here before. What strength does that give Kent in terms of having a reliable overseas player who's coming back year on year?
Yeah, well, that's great. That's what you want. You obviously, first and foremost, Wes has performed brilliantly whenever he's played for Kent. But secondly, he is a great bloke, and he is someone you want to play with. He doesn't stop bowling all day. Brilliant around the dressing room. Great for the lads. And it's brilliant when you have overseas players come in and they settle in as quickly as he did, and you can bring them back, and you know what you're going to get with him. And I think he's equally as excited to come over as well. It's great that I think we've got him for the first block of champ, and then quite a lot of the T20s as well, which is fantastic. He's a real class act.
And then Xavier Bartlett. Anything excite you about him in what you've seen, or you just need to get to know him?
Yeah, it was weird. I've been away this winter in New Zealand, so my time zones have obviously been switched to that side of the world, and didn't know we were signing him. But whenever I checked the cricket scorecards and stuff from that side of the world, you look at the Sheffield Shield stuff or Big Bash stuff, and kept seeing this Bartlett like, bloody hell, he's taking wickets every week, like ridiculous player, and then getting a few runs and stuff. And then obviously, was it last week it got announced, the week after? And I was like, oh, it's great news. Boys are buzzing. He looks like a real good bowler, a real good find, and obviously not surprised Australia are restricting him to sort of a certain amount of games and stuff. But yeah, no, he's going to be a great addition, and. But there's no pressure on him. He's coming here to help us out, but also for his own career as well. And we'll create a great environment for him, and hopefully he just comes in and enjoys the place. And you never know, it might be the start of he comes back for a few seasons. But no, I'm looking forward to catching them off him. It'll be good fun.
It'll be very interesting to see how he goes. Let's turn now to something a bit more light-hearted and less serious. Let's do a little bit of quick fire / fun round / getting to know the dressing room, whatever. So first question for you, and you can throw someone under the bus here. Who has the worst dress sense in the Kent dressing room?
Ben Compton, straight away.
Bet, and why?
No explanation needed, really. If you saw him, you'd understand. We had a golf day on Monday, first day back, and he turned up looking like one of the Backstreet Boys. So I think him hands down. Okay,
who's got the best dressing room banter?
There's some boys that are loud. Like, I'm loud. Doesn't mean I'm necessarily got the best banter. Jack's leaning loud, Parky loud, but Joe Denley's a bit of a silent assassin. I think he gets me in stitches. Yeah.
Who chooses the dressing room playlist?
Ooh. Actually, S&C, Rob Chave does a lot of it. Kind of gets mixed around a little bit. Tawanda tries to get on there a little bit. But yeah, the S&C normally goes for it. But it's a bit of a free-for-all actually at the moment.
Yeah.
No one's
Is
really
it just like all genres thrown in there?
All over the place. All over the place, yeah.
And then some questions for you yourself. Have you got any funny club cricket stories?
I got hit on the head once, fielding a slip from someone threw it in from the boundary, and it knocked me on the head. And I had to go to A&E and miss the rest of the game. Other than that, I can't think I've got any funny club. I mean, probably the funniest one I've got is from that 50 over final where I decided to pick the glove up and catch it. I mean, that's probably the worst one. I'm half expecting that to be on Question of Sport in 10, 15 years' time, and I know the answer to it. What happens next? Yeah, that donut at point runs in and picks the club up. Yeah.
Are you a floppy hat or a cap man?
Cap.
Cap man all the way. Any reason?
No. I think it used to be because when I was at slip, if I caught like that, my hands used to hit the floppy bit. But now I just quite like wearing the baggy blue. Like, it's nice.
Every cricketer I've asked that to has said got to be a cap because the floppy hat logistically
is not weird. Like, I think for bowlers it's a bit different if you're chilling at mid off, but like and I'm quite short as well, so I get a lot of catches that are head high. So yeah, it used to always get in the way.
What's your Sunday roast go to?
Oh, good lord, great question. So this is one thing I really missed from being in New Zealand, like being away in the hot. I've just missed roast so much. So the first thing I did was go for a roast when we got back. But if I'm like absolute go-to, I'm probably going pork belly. Going pork belly with a bit of crackling. Got to be Yorkshires, got to be roast potatoes. Bread sauce, I'm a big fan of.
Oh,
So I might
controversial, that.
I might put a bit of bread sauce in there. If a pork belly, I'd go beef probably. Yeah.
Absolutely good choices. One final one then for you. What's your favourite sport outside cricket?
Football.
Football?
Yeah.
Everyone else says golf.
Quick answer.
So do you support?
Tottenham. I'm a bit of a football tragic. I love my football. I still think I'm better at football than cricket.
Ange Postecoglou on the
yeah, big Ange, mate. Big fan of him.
Yeah.
I got a season ticket as well, so I'm a bit of a football tragic, unfortunately.
Well, maybe once your cricket career finishes, you can go to football.
No, it's probably a bit late. Maybe coaching.
Maybe coaching.
Maybe
Football coaching. You're going to be Spurs manager in 10
Oh,
years'
don't
time.
talk like that. That'd be the dream. Yeah, that'd be the dream.
Well, Harry, thank you very much
you're
for
welcome.
joining us, and it's been a pleasure.
No,
Cheers.
welcome.